anniversary of his murder by the police department. Do want to let you guys know that there is a ceasefire peace march and rally today. It's happening today. It's a call to action for all community organizations, churches, families, and anyone who has lost a loved one or has been affected by that, which is pretty much all of us. You know, it starts at 4 p.m. And it's on the corner of MLK and California. So today we're remembering our loved ones who lost to gun violence. And this is at the hands of one another as well as the hands of the police departments. You know, people always like to say, well, you know, there's black on black violence or there's brown on brown violence, and you know, you're killing each other, so don't talk to me about the police killing us. Well, you know what? The fact is, we handle that each and every day. We're addressing that in our community each and every day. Just because you don't see the news covering it doesn't mean it's not happening. So you can't really just go there. It burns me up when people speak out of ignorance and they don't have the facts, when really people should be listening, observing, watching, and trying to understand what's going on. And the fact that the police are held to a standard, they are sworn to protect and to serve. We pay their salary, they work for us. So the fact that they are dealing with immunity is a serious problem that we can and will and have to address. So, you know, we want to protect ourselves in this day and age. There is a Know Your Rights training happening tomorrow that the brother in the studio will be conducting. He is leader of the Brown Berets. Reverend Harris, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Lady J, for that information about the ceasefire in West Fresno. That is very important right now. We do hear about, you know, why don't we give attention to the black on black crime and etc. And I believe now whoever asked that question is being answered now. We have to understand that I'm only one person. Brother Ralphie is one person. We're not a Oakland, we're not a LA, where we have tons and tons of organizers that that can, you know, jump on every issue. We would love to jump on every issue, but as Brother Ralphie said earlier, you know, we don't get paid to do what we do. So we get where we can and do what we have to do when we do. But I believe right now someone is stepping up to the plate, organizing this, and I tip my hat to them. Just be sincere. Don't be one of them, and I'm gonna be very frank, don't be one of them 501c3 pimps who's doing this event today or any other events just to get some funding and to hire more people on your staff. Be sincere about it, because if I find out that that's what it is, I'll be the first one to put you on blast, not just here locally, but across the country. So we tip our hat to those who have organized this today. I'm going to try to get out there if I can. But like I said, go out, please support it. It sounds like a very positive event. Network. One of the things we teach is how to network here in Fresno. I network here locally, as statewide, as well as nationally, as well as our leader here, Brother Ralphie, with the Fresno Brown Berets. And so it's very important to network and share information of what you're doing with your organization. And all the minds comes around the table. Everyone has a right to be at the table right now. Many people will say, oh, you don't have a right because you're a woman, or you don't have a right because you're not African American, you don't have a right because you're like Latino. Listen, we're living in one community and there's one oppressor right now, and that's the government. Just ask all of those who are laying out in the grave right now that's been killed unjustly here in Fresno, Mississippi, Fresno, as well as across the country. I'd like to go back and talk to our leader, Brother Ralphie, here about the workshop tomorrow. We have collaborated many times in these workshops. Know Your Rights when confronted by police officers. I was one of the founders of Fresno Cop Watch here years ago when we brought in Andrea from Oakland to videotape, and after that, that's when someone caught two police officers up on Bullard and Blackstone beating a homeless man while he was on his back, closed fist, and that's when Swearington has came in. I'd like to talk about Swearington also a little bit with this conversation. And so someone caught that on film. But prior to that, 12 years, 13 years, we've been trying to get an independent police auditor here in Fresno. I believe Henry T. Perez Sr., if I'm correct, if I'm wrong, correct me, Brother Ralphie, was on the city council at that time. And I believe he voted it down every time that we brought that proposal to the Fresno City Council, understanding his relationship with the Fresno Police Union. Those guys over there, they buy politicians. Those guys over there, you want to run for office, it's always public safety, public safety, public safety. But never do we talk about the poverty here in Fresno that creates a public safety issue. I've never heard not one politician in this city run off of, you know what, we're going to end poverty here in Fresno. No, because poverty generates what? Money. It generates what? More police. What? It generates the chief of police to justify, well, I need to buy more toys and guns and helicopters. And I'm not going to go and attack the poverty level here so that we can decrease the crime, but we're going to say we need more police. And so I wanted Brother Ralphie, kind of our leader of the Fresno Brown Berets, to kind of talk about the independent police auditor, because I don't really, people really understand what is an independent police auditor, a real independent police auditor, versus this OIR, whatever they call it right now, which has really no teeth. He has put out some good reports. He has put out some things I was surprised that he put out, especially about the blacks being pulled over more and detained here. I was shocked that the mayor and the city manager, which signed his check, allowed him to do that, well as Chief Dyer. But he has been putting out some good information, but the independent police auditor is not strong like it should be. It doesn't have the teeth with subpoena power. You know, this is what we need, a healthy 21st century. How come we don't have a civilian review board? Oakland has it. Big cities has it. So why don't we have it, Brother Ralphie? Can you chime in on that for me?
All right, it's a good topic to know if you don't know here in Fresno, like other cities. And Reverend Floyd Harris just summed it up big time. Why not? And why this is not working necessarily for us here in Fresno. But what an independent police auditor would do, they would represent the people. It's the citizen oversight of policing. We give them a badge and a gun, and we entrust them to protect and serve. And yet, when something happens where a police officer takes the life of a citizen, we as citizens should have a right to know what happened. Our tax dollars go into this, and a real police auditor will be able to sit in the meetings, ask questions, have subpoena power. For those who don't know, subpoena is where you're demanded, you are required by law to turn over documents and evidence and investigation. And so if the people wanted to subpoena, if the auditor wanted to subpoena the facts or the evidence in question, he can do that. We do not have that currently in Fresno. We have an auditor, and like Reverend Harris put it, he has no teeth because he can sit there inside the meetings, and if they want him out, which they oftentimes understand do, he has to wait outside. So we don't truly have an auditor here. It's kind of like we asked for cookies and they gave us dough half baked. You know, that's insulting. So we've been fighting for this for a long time. Now, why doesn't it happen? A lot of it comes down to politics again here in town. Fresno in the Central Valley is the last stronghold for what I call racist conservatism in California. It's one of the last strongholds, but it's probably the biggest stronghold. And everybody across America knows that. They know that they can count on the Central Valley with some of the farmers and some of the leaders, including some of the mayors and Congress people who represent the state, to take the side of the conservative or the one who's not necessarily looking out for the interests of poor and people of color. So we are not going to get truly an auditor like LA and others have it to an extent to have citizen oversight. We're not going to get it because we don't have the numbers yet to empower to do it. But you brought up Henry Perea, the politician, and the truth is he hasn't necessarily been there when it comes to policing issues. You can't count on him. You can't count on him to be on our side. Now, he's a big favorite of the Democratic Party, and he's a big favorite of the unions, and he's a big favorite of law enforcement. And that hurts us because we will hope that he's done something. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't been there for us. But there will be a forum, which I understand is being organized right now specifically by Black Lives Matter here in Fresno. It will be an